Hey guys, how are we doing? It's been a long day. Just had our managers conference here in Bolton. It's a good Sunday spent with the managers and partners. We use it as an opportunity to introduce some new initiatives across the business and also do some education and training. Today I'm going to go through the top 4 mistakes small businesses make with regards to their financials. My first tip is don't be blinded and dazzled by your top line. I mean, we see it so much nowadays in the news that XYZ company is achieving 100 billion valuation, 100 billion, yeah, please, 100 million valuation, or ABC company is now IPOing for this amount. Don't get caught up in those headline figures, right? You work on your business. You work on real profitability, real EBIT. Earnings before interest and tax. If you don't know what that is, go study it. A lot of business owners don't even know what EBIT and EBITDA is. Like, that's the metric, that's the scorecard which you're operating your business on. It's like saying, I'm a cricketer, but I don't know what an over is, or I don't know what a wicket is. Come on, guys, that's how you're measuring your success. So my tip there is don't be what I call a busy fool. Don't be working super hard just for revenue and just for turnover. You want to focus on actual money you can take home. Because at the end of the day, you're working day in and day out for your business. And you're not doing it for, well, you shouldn't be doing it for ego purposes. You should be doing it to create value, to add value back to people, but also to be able to pay yourself and, make some money, be profitable, okay? So that's my tip. Don't be a busy fool. Work on profitability. So guys, just to hammer home that point, if you're in business for ego, you're going to become a busy fool. I mean, there's loads of people that can this year set up $1 million, £1 million business just through revenue and be making £0 profitability. What's the point? Realistically, if your business is turning over £1 million, but you're not taking home any money, what's the point? You could have taken a job and made 50K. At least you had 50K in your pocket. Be smart. Don't be a busy fool. Work for profitability. It's a big tip, and it's a big mistake that I see a lot of young entrepreneurs making. So pay attention to that for me, guys. And my second tip, and this one gets me going, is I see a lot of young entrepreneurs making impulsive purchases. And again, it just comes back to the media and the news and the things we see. Just because Facebook has a massive campus where they can afford sleeping pods where their employees can sleep, and Google's got a massive campus with canteens, doesn't mean as soon as you raise a little bit of money for your startup, you go get a nice snazzy office in the city centre of London and a nice canteen and brand new laptops for all your team members. Don't make impulsive purchases. Keep an eye on every single pound you spend. Ultimately, that pound is taking you one step closer to building the business you want to build, okay? So be diligent, be tight on the money, spend where you need to spend, but also keep an eye on those numbers, okay? Especially as a startup. And that's a very good habit for you to get into, even when you make it to 10 million, 100 million, or a bigger business. It's just a good trait to have. So don't start off with bad habits, because they're just gonna build and get worse as you get through more business. Like fancy coffee machines, they're unnecessary, guys. When you're a startup, drink instant coffee. Get that Nescafe and put 2 spoons in. You're not having a latte. There's no need for it. Focus on your bottom line and focus on building your business. It's more important. You can worry about the fancy offices, fancy client meeting rooms later. It'll come. Don't worry about it. It's not necessary. Work from your bedroom if you have to. That's how I started. Ultimately, guys, you need to focus on every single cost that is leaving your business. Make sure you question it, make sure you authorize it, make sure you know why it's going out, and make sure it's a cost it's an investment that's going to help you move forward as a business. If there are costs there in your balance sheet which are really just egotistical or nice to haves, you can't afford that as a startup. But even worse, you're developing bad habits which will prevent your business from achieving its potential. And I don't want to see that, guys. Tip number 3, diversifying too early. And guys, again, this is something I see too often. Too many young entrepreneurs, after achieving their initial bit of success and getting some cash in their pocket, they may now have some connections, suddenly opportunities start to come their way, right? I've seen it. Now, what too many young entrepreneurs are doing is that they're putting their fingers in too many pies. They're taking on too many different challenges, and what they're doing now is they're sacrificing that all at the detriment of their main bread and butter business. Okay, the main business that gave them the opportunity to invest in these others. When what they should be doing is building their main business, focusing on it, and growing it to its potential, and then diversifying later. There's plenty of time for that. But at that point when you're a startup and you've just started making some money, it's too early to be diversifying. It's like Steve Jobs says, right? Focus is not your ability to say yes to one thing. It's your ability to say no to the other hundreds of opportunities that come your way. Okay, guys? So be prepared to say no and say, no, I'm focusing on my business. And opportunities will come. That's the landscape of a business. And the innate entrepreneur within you will want to try these new ideas and concepts. But there comes a certain point where you're like, you know what? I've got my one idea. That's what I'm going to focus on. I'm really going to push this forward and make it happen. And guys, I don't want this to be misconstrued. I'm not saying don't diversify. I'm saying don't diversify too early. There becomes a stage once you've achieved and your business is now at a mature stage that 100% I would diversify. And that's what I do. You don't want all your income coming from one income stream. You want it to be diversified. But at the beginning, you want to focus all your efforts onto that one baby of yours. Okay? Now, my fourth and final tip for you is to make sure you focus on cash flow. Cash flow is king, right? We've heard it before and we hear it all the time. But it's just the truth. Every business is only as good as its cash flow. You can have the world's next best idea in your head and you're gonna run with it, right? But if you don't know how to manage cash flow to make sure your business survives from month to month to pay your paychecks, what's the point? Okay? And this is, and I keep saying it, this is another common issue I see amongst young entrepreneurs particularly, and even older entrepreneurs, just new entrepreneurs, let's say. You need to be able to focus on cash flow. And it's difficult because innately, we are entrepreneurs that want to focus on our passion. We want to focus on the product, the service, the idea we have, and we want to really push it out to people. The last thing we want to do is go through our accounts, look at expenses, and understand when the cash is going to come in and how we're going to pay our utilities bills and our staff salaries. But the truth is, it's got to be done, right? If you don't pay your staff, you don't have a business next month. Okay? So especially as a startup, it's very important that you just swallow that pill. You just say, you know what? I need to learn about some of these finance concepts. I need to make sure that I'm looking at them in detail for my business so I can manage my cash flow. And as soon as you can afford it, I highly recommend that you go and hire a finance director that can take that pain from you. They can then control all that financial stuff and you can really focus on what you're passionate about. But until you're at that point, guys, you're gonna have to do it yourself, okay? Cash flow is king. You need to know how to juggle your money. And I've been there, I've got stories of how I had to juggle money between accounts and between businesses to make sure that I could meet my payments. But it's very important you do that, otherwise to get you through those difficult times. And I touch upon that on another video. Steve, you can link that up here, where I explain how difficult it is to manage cash flows. And it's one of the most important things in a startup is managing that cash flow. And it's difficult when you've not got a steady line of revenue. It's very difficult to project what the next costs are going to be. And guys, just as a bonus point, Steve, throw up a bonus point here. Try to keep a buffer of operating costs. I do this within my businesses. In the business account, I will keep 4 months worth of operating costs in there so that if a natural disaster happened or for whatever reason, my business was unable to generate revenues, I knew I had a 4-month window where I could cover my costs. I can cover my rents, my bills, my utilities, my staff costs, my product costs for 4 months while I fix things. And in that time, I've got to fix the revenues to make sure the sales are coming in. Okay? And now I get it, guys. As a startup, it's difficult to get 4 months worth of operating costs. So at the very least, if I was you, I'd target 2 months and try to build up that buffer as your business gets more and more mature. Okay? Keep that buffer. It will serve you good. Overall, guys, what we can see here is a common theme, right? You're a young entrepreneur, you're new into the world of business, you've got your small startup, and the last thing you want to be doing is these financial bits. And that's why these are common issues, right? Not looking at your cash flow, not keeping buffers. It's common, and overspending on nice to haves. So that's why, like I said, try to get yourself a finance director as soon as possible. If you're a startup entrepreneur who knows that they just do not want to learn about some of this finance stuff, and they just not interested, not willing to learn any of it, then what I recommend to you is try to find yourself a co-founder with a complementary set of skills, okay? Somebody that can do that stuff whilst you focus on the products. You guys will make a good team and you can really push the business forward. I mean, the facts are you're not going to run a successful business unless you understand the finance, okay? That is the scorecard to the game you are playing. And if you want to win, you need to be able to tell the score. So get started, start learning about these things. If you're not willing to learn about these things, find somebody who is and bring them into the business. The small bit of equity, or if it's a wage that you'll be giving up for that person, will be well worth it. I know from my experiences, those investments have paid off, okay? And it frees up my time to do some of the other stuff I want to do. So guys, if you found this video useful, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, please share the video. Share the video as it will really help me out, and hopefully this video can reach some more people who are looking to start out in the business world and achieve their goals. See you in the next one.